Hello YouTube, yet another major Ursi Day tournament is concluded. I ended up playing one round in this entire tournament and I won it, but I ended up going to, there was a fair happening in my city. It was really good. I had this barbecue, so I had an amazing time. I ended up seeing Superman. If you have watched Superman, let me know what you guys thought about it in the comments below. I'd love to talk about it with you guys. But outside of that, a major tournament has happened and there's been quite a few meta shifts. Remember, last week's meta update, I kept saying Oricorio is up. I even made a video, right, that showed all the different Oricorio decks that you can play, and Oricorio was the third most used deck. And I want to talk about like why that's happening, where that's coming from. Of course, we know that the rank 1 Seagun actually ended up using a Charizard list, 6,000 points. It's freaking insane. I played 100 games and I thought that was a lot. He ended up playing oh my gosh, 104 games in a day, right? A kind of insane person, really. No, he went 104. I played 100 games and I was exhausted. He played 156, 160 games. I can't keep up. Honestly, I have so many thoughts about this ranked, but that's for another video. The important thing is that he was switching between two Charizard variants, one without Flareon, which if you are high enough rank, you'll actually start seeing less Silvally or Oricorio, and this can be a deck that you can consider. But the big thing is like he started using Potion plus like, you know, Cape. But really cool to see. This is the Flareon version, which is like meant to be Oricorio. That's why there's a Sabrina in this version. But this version is made to do good in like the mirror match, in the other matches like Sylveon, Gren. That's why there's a Potion and the Cape, because you want to see all your healing. And even the tournament right before the Ursa Day, this guy went 15-0 with Charizard. So that's the thing I kind of want to mention, is that Charizard's broken. Charizard may very well be the best ranked deck, but as far as it comes to tournaments, it is firmly second, as Sylveon Greninja is just way too consistent, and the fact that people are always going to try to counter Charizard Sylveon means that it has a rougher time in this tournament. The Ursa Day is still going on, but there are a few people already in that top 8, top 16, so I do want to talk about some of these decks. First up is Random Ways using Sylveon Solgaleo. I think this is actually the best way to play this deck. It's going to be Solg and Eevee. I think like at this point Sylveon Slop is everywhere, right? But this is the first time we're seeing Solgaleo Sylveon Slop like pop off in tournaments, so it's very nice to see. This is actually a list that I ran on stream as well, except this guy has double Sabrina, so he's cooking a little bit harder than I am. Double the Magiarna is great. It's a 90 HP Pokemon. With 2 metal, you'll be able to deal 80, which is going to get rid of Oricorio, especially with Guzma. Leftovers is the really cool tech. Leftovers Solgaleo, if you notice, a lot of these Zard lists that I was showing you, even like Seaguns, has Guzma, right? So with Leftovers, it actually avoids getting Guzma because you attack, go to 170, and then you heal up that 10. So it's a really cool anti-Charizard tech. So we end up with a Solgaleo deck that has a kind of positive matchup into Charizard asterisk, right? And the asterisk is you need Leftovers, but that's like a very fine asterisk. They're currently 9-0-1. They're in contention to win this tournament. The other decks I need to talk about is Darkrai. And why Darkrai is so good, when I just said Oricorio is everywhere, right? So this guy is currently 10-0, has a chance to win the entire tournament, and I kind of want to stress that one of the biggest things that's happening in all of these these Oricorio deck lists is they're dropping a card. They're dropping the most important card, right? And that card is Guzma. So none of these decks run Guzma. Therefore, Darkrai players are actually dropping Nihilego because they're like, oh, my Rocky helmets are sticking because there's no more Guzma. And so because of that, decks like Darkrai Giratina are back to their like original form. I think that this is the second best deck in tournament. I think this is the second best deck, period. But it's gonna have to warrant another video because this deck just doesn't die, right? It kind of adapts to the meta, and it's taking advantage of it not being the biggest threat, right? It's never gonna have that biggest meta share anymore. Those days are behind us, so it ends up taking advantage of how the meta adapts and the fact that a lot of decks are lacking Guzma, especially Oricorio decks. You end up doing really nicely into them, and I think that even the other Darkrai player has probably also dropped Nihilego. Yeah, so they both have dropped Nihilego. And I think that's a very important meta development. If you are still using Darkrai to climb, I would recommend also just going back to a Rocky Helmet form variant because none of them are running Guzma, and you are even able to beat Oricorios just off of Darkrai pings and Rocky Helmets. Because let's look at that list. Right? This is like another top 8 list. You'll notice that this deck lacks healing, right? And if you lack healing, that means you are a ping Rocky Helmet away from KOing the Ori, and you KO all of these, especially with Rocky Helmet, after a Darkrai ping and attack. So this feels really nice to start seeing, but this is a really cool list by Cuda using double Rocky. Rocky is very good in the mirror match, as you are able to put an Oricorio to 50, you're able to put a Savali to 90, putting them both in range. So I think that if there's a version that you're looking for, this is a really cool version. Shout out to Cura. And finally, I think the other deck I want to talk about, because all the other decks are like mostly have been like what we have seen before. But if you're looking for a spicy deck, like a spicy meatball, I have to show you this deck that made top 64. Yes, it lost immediately. Yes, this is YouTube content, but it does not matter. Here is Delcatty Snorlax Comfy. So this means that this is a psychic energy only deck. Energy Assist takes a colorless energy from your zone and attach it to your bench Pokemon. So you're going to be attaching it to a Snorlax. Of that, it's going to charge it 2 times, right? And eventually you are going to be able to get Snorlax in. You do have psychic energy, which means this Comfy is going to protect it from any and all special conditions. This means that Poison Barb is not going to do as much as you want it to do against this. And like I said, this is why we're all switching back to Rocky Helmet. But this is really cool. I obviously have beef with Snorlax, but I still need to respect when someone cooks. These tournaments are hard to make cut, and making it just in at top 64 is amazing. So big shout outs to them for making such a goofy ass deck. I think is the best way to really talk about it. And I'm very excited to see how this tournament ends up playing out. But we have kind of where we're at. I think this meta is pretty well defined, right? The only really big thing I want to talk about, besides we have Sylveon Gren's at the top, Zard, Sylveon's at the top, Giratina, Darkrai. Those are my top 3 at the moment. And then the decks right below it, Flareon, Leafeon, Sylveon, Ori. Buzzwole Pheromosa did actually come back. So I guess that's let me talk about that deck because it did come back in quite a big way. If we go to TCG Pocket and we search Buzzwole Celesteela, you'll see that it got second here in this tournament, and I thought that was pretty cool. But it also went I'm pretty sure it went undefeated in one of the earlier runs, and I think that's kind of cool. I think I searched by date, July 11th. It did get top 4 in this tournament, so I think it's kind of cool. There's another version that is using just only double Pheromosa, which is the version I was trying to show you guys. But I'm blind and I guess I can't find it, or maybe I just made it up because I wanted to believe that Buzzwole was good. I don't know where that tournament went, so if I find it or if someone else finds it, there was a Buzzwole player that went undefeated to win a tournament, and they were using double Pheromosa, double Cyrus. So I thought that was really cool. No Kartana, but I can't find it when I'm going through tournaments, so maybe I just made that up. Other than that, the one who kind of had a bad tournament, and I do want to talk about that right now, is Guzzlord Nihilego. This is Guzzlord Nihilego's worst tournament. Not a single player went positive. That's crazy, right? For a top tier comp or high tier comp, to bust her out in this way. It only did good into Charizard Sylveon, which is supposed to do good into. And then had an awful Sylveon Ninja players did really good. Flareon, Leafeon players dumpstered, and as I mentioned, Buzzwole players are back on the rise. So like I said, tournament is still going on. I'll put the link so that you can follow it down below. I'll also put Ursi Day's socials down, because you know you want to, if you want to watch this tournament live, you can watch this tournament live. I'll get this video out probably when this tournament is in like top 8 or top 4, so you can see how things are shaking up. But this is the top 16. It's this meta. Like, I think that this meta is pretty defined. I don't really think there's anything too special to talk about, besides the fact that there is a Sylveon Solgaleo that's freaking popping off, and it makes sense when there is so many Greninja Sylveon players, right? And with the leftovers tech, it does good into Charizard. I asked this question on YouTube, my post. What do you guys feel about this meta so far? What are your thoughts? And, you know, that's really all I have. I've been yapping. I'm probably gonna grab breakfast and start streaming. So take care, y'all. I will be back another time, probably with like a Darkrai video. I'm kind of really invested in figuring out the script for the 100 games. I played 100 games in a row, non-stop, and that was kind of insane. So I'm excited to tell a story about that. Anyway, bye bye.